The following video may contain graphic or disturbing content that is not suitable for all audiences. The events discussed are presented for educational and analytical purposes only. All individuals shown are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Viewer discretion is advised.
Yes. Here we go. We are now live. Episode 8. I'll take these off. We'll just start with those and then we'll take them off so they're not so shiny. Episode 8.
Woo!
I'm here with the missus. Missus is back for round 2.
She's back.
She's back. She may actually like this. I don't know. So we might see her some more. All right. What did we do? Last time we introduced you.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of talked about a little bit about what you do. So you are current law enforcement, but we're not going to say where because we don't want to run into any issues. You're in an investigative capacity, so we don't want to show your face so that they get my beautiful face right here. But you have some extensive experience, as much as I almost did at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So you're almost there.
Getting there.
So your input here is definitely valuable, and we're gonna see that as we go and talk through a couple things. So we'll do one video, we'll do one discussion and video. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna be like a combination. The video is going to be about the discussion, and then we're gonna do another kind of shorter, faster clip, and then talk about that as it goes.
Okay.
But last week we did the Houston police shooting video. And if you remember, that was the one where the officer, it was kind of like the dollar store, pulls up behind the car, kind of boxes it in, and then goes and makes contact like at the driver door.
Right. And the lady has his taser.
The lady has his taser. And at some point when they're wrestling, he loses the taser. He tries to get it back. Like, hey, lady, give me my taser back. Give me my taser back. And she doesn't want to give it back to him. And so he ends up shooting the guy. Right. And so we talked about that one. And then we talked about the Jacksonville sheriff's video. That was the one where it was a disturbance, possibly with a gun. Lady was banging on the hood of the car. Oh, yeah. And then when the officers contacted him, it was kind of outside the apartments and inside the complex in the parking lot. He ends up shooting himself. Mm-hmm. And then the officers shoot him, which is pretty wild. When you go digging into the information that's released by the department, they looked at the ballistics. They looked at the round that was in his head was a 40 cal, and the firearms that the officers carried were 9 mils. And right. So obviously, there was no JFK super round that came from somewhere else and went through multiple ways and did things. That was what it was. So kind of a wild little situation. I don't know if he meant to shoot himself or he meant to shoot the officer and accidentally got himself.
Didn't have good trigger.
He didn't have great aim when he's got a cop right on his back and the other one was in front of him. But they had great aim. So they finished that off. Mm-hmm. And he died of lead poisoning. So
he did.
Yep. He did. And then we did the Brentwood police. That one was the wacky one where
the Keystone Cops.
The officer stops the guy for weaving, finds out he's got marijuana in the car. He can, I think another officer can see it through the window or something like that. And then they search the vehicle after they get him out. He's got the rifle. Mm-hmm. It looked like a Nerf gun. It was like a white rifle with no buttstock. And then he ends up running and they chase him and they're kind of like running around in the street and strip his shirt off. And then he face plants into the car. The face plant was pretty great. And I think the patrol car did most of the damage.
Yeah.
In that little resistance, up into the point where he picks up the rifle. And thankfully, I'm not a big taser guy. Just in general, I'm not a big taser guy because it depends on what they're wearing. Now, he was like naked from the top.
At the end, he was wearing a pretty baggy sweatshirt to begin with.
Yeah, he's wearing a big shirt, and then they stripped that off. So now it's kind of prime taser territory. And so they hit him with the taser as he picks the rifle up. And so he couldn't use the rifle. So he was kind of locked up for 5 seconds. And then that's when that officer was able to shoot him. So even if they were like, drop the gun, I don't remember if they yelled, drop the gun. I think they did, but he wouldn't have been able to drop it anyway because he was kind of locked up with the taser.
So basically last week's episode 7, should have been titled Chaos Reigns.
There was a lot of chaos reigning. We titled that one Scene Control or something like that. And it was kind of like it was there or there was a lack of scene control. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of things happen there. I always say on the podcast and on the short videos, I always say, be aggressive. I want to see law enforcement be aggressive. And, of course, following policies and procedures and not doing things that are illegal. I want you to be aggressive. And we're going to see some of that in some of these videos today. But, that last video was not very aggressive from last week. So, I don't know. I mean, obviously if they would have taken him down, there's 3 of them, there's 2 females and 1 male. If they would have got on him, everybody would have got on him. They probably could have taken him down. Would it have changed the outcome? Would he have tried to go for somebody's gun and then they would have had to shoot him anyway? Who knows? The kind of lead up there was he was coming from the hospital. Somebody's in the hospital and he was just stopped because of the marijuana. And they thought maybe he was intoxicated. He was under the influence because of the marijuana, but he turned that real fast into something else that I don't know would have.
And I don't like the whole walking up to somebody and saying, hey, turn around and put your hands behind your back, or walking up, hey, you're under arrest. Like, just give a hand signal and just do your business.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. I talked about that. I think I had I did like this, and that hand signal to another officer means handcuffs. And so that they're aware to grab the guy and be ready to put handcuffs on. Not necessarily put him in handcuffs, but just be ready. I'm coming up there. That way you don't have to announce it from far away and say, I'm going to put you in cuffs. You're under arrest. And then they know to respond and they have time to respond and they have time to fight and all that stuff. So,
right. Or know that they have that gun in their car and go for it.
Right.
Just
which he did.
Why give him that option to plan for that?
Right. And he went back to it. That was his plan. Once I get away from these guys, I'm going to go back to it. And he beelined right for the car almost. And so, and then ended up turning into a shooting. Yeah. But anyway, this week we're going to talk about a few little things. This first one is going to be on the lines of aggressive, but, not, and you're going to see it's aggressive verbally, but when we talk about be aggressive to the point where you're making something happen.
Right.
Just yelling, get on the effing ground, or drop the gun, or drop the gun, or drop the gun 100 times, may not do it. And if it doesn't do it, you need to come up with some other plan.
Right.
You need to try something else. And I've said that before on the podcast, but here is our first video. It comes out of Dallas. It's going to be from January 17th of this year. So fairly new. Dallas, Houston, and you guys get a lot of stuff. A lot of my videos come out of these places and it's pretty wild.
I thought you're not supposed to mess with Texas. Apparently everybody does.
Everybody messes around in Texas. Maybe you as an outsider aren't supposed to mess with Texas, but Texans mess with Texans. I don't know.
And I haven't seen any of these videos. This is all blind.
Yeah. So this is going to be a blind view for you. You're kind of off screen over here and viewing on another screen. I've got another screen here and we're able to dual view, but you did hear them kind of while I was doing a little editing, and I take these original clips that come from law enforcement agencies in different places, and I edit them to be better friendly for podcasting. So here we go with the 911 call first, and then I think 3 different body camera views is what we're going to end up seeing.
Dallas 911, this is Donna. Where's your emergency? Okay, is that gunshots that I hear?
Yeah, that's gunshots.
What's going on?
He's so calm.
My brother, they had told him to get out because we had somebody running the property, and he started getting his gun and he started shooting off to the ground.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had a lot of those. A lot of those calls, gunshots heard or gunshots from somebody or whatever. Now these guys are rolling up, and as they roll up, they spot them kind of in the middle of the street. And then you're going to see that they're going to stop a little ways away, which is good, get some distance, and they're going to try to order him to drop the gun. He's got 2 guns, actually.
Hey, he's got a gun. He's got a gun in the middle of the street.
Drop the fucking gun! Drop the fucking gun! Drop the fucking gun! Drop it! Drop the fucking gun! Drop the fucking gun right now! Drop the fucking gun right now! Drop the fucking gun! Drop it! Drop the fucking gun!
All right.
I like that we were
Drop
both
the
doing
fucking
that.
gun right
Yeah.
now! Drop it!
So it's just going to pause real quick, but how many times do you have to say it?
Apparently, all the times.
Yeah. So 10 times I counted right
12.
there.
That was-
Yeah, I counted 10 and then I stopped counting. But I mean, you've told him what to do. He can see your law enforcement. You show up in a marked police car with uniforms and everything else, and you're telling him to drop it. At this point, your brain should get away from drop the gun, and I need to just be yelling at this guy
Yeah.
to what other options do we have?
Well, and you have 2 guys yelling the same thing,
2
which
guys. Yep.
annoys me because who's he supposed to be listening to?
Right.
Which guy yelling
But
the same thing over and over and over?
and I wouldn't say in their defense, but in for the sake of this video, they're both yelling the same thing.
Yeah.
And so they're both yelling, drop the gun, which is not helping.
Right.
And so what do? Taser OC, not appropriate. He's got 2 guns in his hands. You're not going to use that, right? So what do you have? Some departments have 40s, pepper balls. You can try, have one person be lethal, have one person try, hit him with a 40. Sometimes a 40 millimeter hits. They think they got shot, their brain shuts down, and they are no longer a threat. Or sometimes they, it hits them and it hurts so much
Right.
just from the impact that they want to give up. Pepper balls, maybe you won't be able to see. You get some of that dust, that OC dust in his eyes, and you won't be able to see. I don't know. That could be an option. This second police car is going to be coming from over here in the middle of the street. You could get on the radio and say, hey, hit this guy.
Right.
He's got a gun. He's got 2 guns, and he's walking towards people. Now, if you noticed in the beginning of the video, he's driving down the road. There's a group of people on the left-hand side that they blurred out.
Right.
So he's walking towards those people. He's a threat. Can you hit him with a car? Absolutely.
Well, and it looks like a pretty compact neighborhood,
Right.
too. Like any of those houses could be in the firing zone.
Right. And so what's going to end up happening is he kind of got off the road there. He went on the sidewalk, and now he's going to go up to the, like an open field. And then eventually you'll see what happened there. So here comes the cover car.
gun! Drop it! Drop the fucking gun right now! Drop it! Fuck, he's walking to
Suspect's gonna be armed with 2 firearms.
Yeah. 2 guns. I got 2 guns, one for each of you.
They should be able to drop the fucking guns.
Yeah. Maybe because they said gun.
He's like, which one?
He's like, well, I got 2. Yeah.
Shot fire!
All right. Now we're going to see another camera view.
Gun in his hand? Yeah, gun in his hand.
Hey, he's got a gun. He's got a gun.
Another view.
Drop it!
So these are your
Drop
first
it!
2 officers.
Mhm.
So you had the
Drop
dash
it!
cam, now you have the
Drop
officer.
it!
And for the sake of sanity, I'm going to skip this
Thank you.
ahead a little bit. You can't see the shooting from this angle. You're going to see it here.
Drop it! Drop it! Watch him, watch him!
What this does show is the movements.
Yeah.
So they move up, kind of utilize cover a little bit with that car.
Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Hands up!
Use that
Don't
little stump.
fucking move!
Yeah.
Don't fucking move! Go.
Now you've shot him. He's down. We've talked about like rushing and jumping on things.
Right.
Now what they could have done is grab that patrol car that was facing this way, you know, towards the bad guy, not the one that was initially facing that way, but the one that rolled up second. Let that vehicle roll up and you can use it as cover
Right.
and kind of move behind it. But that's fine. They put him down. I think they could see the guns at a certain point of where they were. They're on the ground away from him. He kind of dropped them and then he fell away from the guns. But they're gonna fight with him for a little bit.
He seems so surprised that they shot him.
Yeah. It's kind of a wake-up call when you're shot. Sometimes that's all it takes. You remember that video with the officer that gets killed that I did?
Yeah.
And that one shot in the
Drop the
back
fucking gun!
dropped him.
Right.
Drop the fucking gun!
It didn't do a whole lot of
Drop the
damage, but it
fucking
just
gun!
was enough to
Drop it!
make him no longer
Drop the
out.
fucking gun!
We're gonna skip a little bit of this.
Drop the fucking gun! Drop it! Drop the fucking gun! Drop it! Drop it!
Then we're gonna get the third body
Drop it
camera
right now! Get your fucking
from
hands
the
up!
other car.
Get your fucking hands up! Get him up right now! Get him up! Get him up!
I mean, fairly okay move. The guns are, they can't really see him there, but the guns are on the ground. And then there's no audio on this.
That's good.
no drop the fucking gun from these guys.
So does he shoot at them first? It's hard to see.
It's hard to tell. So this one, the guy's actually got the door open and the gun out while he's driving. Just interesting. I don't know how well he'd shoot like that, but
Huh.
I guess if you had to, you had to.
Hey, he's got a gun. He's got a gun in the middle of the street.
You'd have to be mindful of every round you fire,
Yeah.
where it's going.
Drop
Law
the
enforcement.
gun!
Have good trigger control.
Drop the gun!
Good everything, yeah.
You're good. Go, go, go.
Skip just a little bit here. They're following the guy.
Drop the fucking gun!
It's a long distance for a shoot.
Drop the
Yeah.
fucking gun!
All of them. So,
They still put him down though at that
yeah, I
distance.
think they hit him in the legs. But yeah, still
Drop the
pretty good.
fucking gun!
Against the sun.
Yeah.
Drop
behind
the
that big tree,
fucking
though.
gun!
Yep, good cover. You're gonna see a still photo transition. So it's gonna be him with the guns
Drop
and
the
then him
fucking
pointing
gun!
the guns at police.
Get the fucking hands up! Get the fucking hands up! Hands up!
They move
I
up
got
on
him!
him, and there's the guns right there.
Okay.
So he drops both and he fell.
I got guns over here!
And then you're going to see the still. So he's got the two guns here, and then he's going to raise the guns at the officers, and that's when they shoot.
Okay.
So that's like pretty clear as day, justifiable shoot.
Yeah.
I think
All
all
day.
day long. I think all day long in terms of even while he's walking up the street.
Yeah.
I think he could have easily shot him
I mean,
You
they
know.
let him get kind of pretty
Pretty far.
far away
pretty far. Yeah.
where that happened.
So I would say, like I said, justified 100%. I would say, use your tools, use
Mhm.
your tactics. So you've tried commands. So you've tried normal commands like, hey man, drop the gun. And he doesn't listen. Hey, fucking drop the gun. And you ramped up, right? You got loud. So they were very loud. They were 2, if not 3 or 4 of them yelling at this guy, and he's not doing it.
Right.
So there's another video I'm going to play, kind of probably on another episode, where it's the same kind of thing. They've surrounded him. They're in this little field, little yard of a house. It's a big yard of a house, and he's unarmed, and they're trying everything they can to get this guy to surrender. I think they tried tasers and batons and everything, and they can't get this guy to surrender. And ultimately, they end up shooting him because he rushes one of the officers. But not to give too much of that video away, but use your tools. So if you don't have pepper balls, Dallas, I imagine Dallas PD does, because I used to watch that old show, Dallas PD SWAT.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And they had everything, and they had more than I think local agencies here had. So you've got all this stuff. Let's use them, get them to the officers so that they can use them.
Yeah, you have like what, 30 pounds of gear on your belt.
Right.
Let's
Yeah. Throw
Good
your
work.
belt at them. I mean, whatever. Do something. So we're going to transition to a topic. So normally what we do on the episodes is we do kind of 3 breakdowns.
Mhm.
And then I threw in 3 breakdowns and a discussion last week, which ultimately put the episode like an hour and something,
right.
12 minutes or something like that. So very long episode. So we're going to shorten that. Added in a little more talking this time so that we're communicating and having casual conversation, which is what I said last week is I want the episodes to be more personal. I want the shorter clips that I put out that are anywhere between 60 seconds. And I think the longest one now is 15 minutes or something like that. I want those to be breakdowns and tactics, policies, procedures, kind of discussions, not saying right or wrong, but discussions. And then this is more personal. And it's nice that you're here because I don't have to talk to myself. I mean, I've been doing that, so I had no problem in talking to myself. I have a great conversation with myself. I am always right. So that's good.
Well, that's going to be interesting because I'm always right.
Yeah, you're always
Hey.
right. Well, I know that you're always right because if I don't know that, then I'm in trouble. So yeah, you're going to be always right in this stuff. Anyway, we are going to do a quick little discussion topic. And what this is on is canines sniffing vehicles for searches. Now, it is legal. And how it's legal is there were multiple Supreme Court kind of rulings.
Mhm.
Okay. And so when an officer pulls you over, let's say they have a dog. Okay. They've already got the dog in the car. There's no wait. There's no delay. There's nothing that needs to happen to have this dog arrive. Can they bring the dog out? Yes. They can bring the dog out, sniff around the car. It was the Supreme Court, Rodriguez versus United States in 2015, that said they can do it without a warrant. And then if they alert, can they search? And I'm going to start playing a little clip here of just this.
Man, when I turn on
As
my
we
lights,
discuss.
you hit the brakes, dude. Oh, no, because so I can get pulled over. I ain't
That
finna
guy's
run
got
from
teeth.
nobody. I'm going to have you step out and come back to my
Those
car.
look
while I rent
expensive.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run
More
my
than
dog
my
around
car.
your car, okay? Go ahead. To conduct an open air sniff.
So he doesn't even need the permission from the guy pretty
Right.
much, but he gets him out of the vehicle, which is kind of weird. I'm not big on, hey, let's get you out of the vehicle. I like you in the vehicle where you're kind of stuck.
Contained.
Yeah, you're stuck. And
Well,
I-
he lets him out of the vehicle. Does he pat him down? Because now
I
he's
hope
just
so.
standing there with his hands in his pockets, which is weird to me.
Yeah, we're missing some context here. He's definitely got his hands in his pockets. I definitely would pat somebody down for weapons if I bring him out of a vehicle. And so in this case, he says, hey, I'm going to do this. And the guy says, oh, yeah, sure. Oh, cool. Now you have consent, which you don't really need,
Right.
but that's great to have too. There's some context missing where apparently he says, you can't search my car after the dog, but it's irrelevant anyway. We're going to talk about that.
All right.
Here goes the dog. Checking. And then he's going to alert kind of on the driver door. He's definitely getting something there. He's going to go back and then he's going to sit.
Oh, that's a good boy.
There's a
He
half
is
a
a good
brick.
boy.
There's a whole brick.
Old brick.
Oh, brick. There's some more in the back. Now, what I saw in the kind of information was it's fentanyl,
Oh,
like fentanyl pills or something like that. So, what happens with the dog? So they are trained extensively.
mhm.
I had a buddy that was canine, and I oversaw when I was in the reserve. I was a captain there. I had a canine unit that was kind of under me or attached
Mhm.
because we were the Denver area. And so I am very well familiar with the extensive training that he had put his canine through. It was a drug dog, but it was a bomb dog too.
Mhm.
And so it was able to smell, firearms and ammo and all sorts of stuff. And so pretty extensive. I mean, it was weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks of training, months and months and months, tests and tests and tests, all these different things that they had to do. So the thing to keep in mind with a dog sniffing a vehicle, they become probable cause.
Right.
So if they smell and they alert, you've got probable cause. But they have to be trained the right way. And so in states like ours, where marijuana is legal, if they smell marijuana, they can't hit on marijuana. So it can't be a dog that's trained for that unless they're trained to ignore that. So they've been trained marijuana, meth, cocaine, whatever, but they've been trained to ignore marijuana.
Right.
So they'd have to. If they don't, that's going to screw up your probable cause. So let's say it's a state, I don't know, one of these other states that marijuana is illegal. They train to smell marijuana, they sniff, they get it, probable cause, search, find it, good. In this state here, they go to sniff the car, they're trained on marijuana, cocaine, meth, whatever, search, you find marijuana. Let's say you find cocaine somewhere else, you're going to run into probable cause problems because your dog was trained to find marijuana in a state where marijuana is legal. It found marijuana, but it also found something else. And so you run into some issues there. And so Supreme Court has kind of ruled on that as well. As to the reliability of dogs, unanimously, which is kind of rare in the Supreme Court, usually there's kind of a left side, right side battle with anything these days. But most of the Supreme Court, as it relates to canines, was like 4-2 and this and that, whatever. But unanimously, all of them said in Florida v. Harris in 2013 that dogs are reliable.
It's because they're good boys.
They're good
And
boys.
girls.
And girls, yeah. And now they're using back in when I was younger, it was like bloodhoundish dogs, right? And then it became German Shepherds, and now they're using those Malinois or whatever they're called. And, it's almost like they've upgraded the dogs too, because they seem like they're better. They do better trained, and I wouldn't say more aggressive, but you definitely see the bites are better.
Yeah.
You look at like old canine videos and then you look at new canine videos and the bites seem to be more aggressive.
Yeah, they strength train their jaws.
Yeah. And some actually get caps on their teeth. Do you know this?
No, I was joking.
No, they get like metal caps put on their teeth so that when they bite, they don't break their teeth.
Oh, that makes sense. Grills.
Yeah.
I like it.
Kind of like this guy that they arrested.
Yeah.
His teeth. This reminds me of a stop I did.
I haven't even finished searching the car. Hey, thanks. Call my lawyer.
So I'm going to touch on this here in a second, but I did narcotics, said, hey, stop that car, try to get into that car because it left a drug house. It's on its way to do a deal. We know it's the drug dealer and they should have stuff. And so we ended up searching it. We found, I think with their consent, or they were suspended or something. I don't remember, but legally everything was fine. We got into the vehicle, searched it, and found drugs, not a lot, but in a baby stroller in the back, like trunk area. It was like a crossover SUV kind of thing. In the stroller, it was like folded down, like strollers, you fold it down. It was folded down. And when you unfold it, the whole baby area had like 80,000 in cash.
Dang. It's
Yeah,
expensive baby.
Yeah, expensive baby. So,
Like what you see on those border security shows.
Right.
That I watch.
Yeah. Same kind of thing. But this is funny. So he tells his girlfriend, wife, whatever, hey, call my lawyer and tell him that I didn't consent to them searching my vehicle.
Yeah, for my lawyer. I just told him they cannot search my car for my lawyer.
And the captions were a little off on this video, but it sounded like could not search my car without my lawyer. They don't need that.
No, because your dog,
The dog.
that's searching is hitting on something he shouldn't legally have anyway.
Right.
And that builds your probable cause.
Right. So the dog hit on drugs, which is what it's known for. They find drugs. It's all very verified. You got the hit, you searched it, you found the drugs. Clearly the dog knows what he's doing, or she. And now they're under arrest. And they don't need consent to search.
Right.
So that's one thing to know. Now, when you go to court, and this guy could do it, he could easily go to court and say, I want, through his attorney, I want all the training documents, certifications, testing, whatever's available on this dog. I want to know what they can search for, what they're able to smell. I want to know their success rates. I want to know, how many times they were right or wrong or whatever it is. And so they can fight that in court as opposed to the side of the road, but they can fight that and try to get kind of off, right?
Right.
Technicality stuff, but yeah. Interesting.
Good
We're
voice.
We're always, yeah, good boy. We're always about sharing good information on the podcast, which we're also going to do with our friends over there at Dubby. And we've had Dubby featured on the podcast before, and there's some yuzu.
That one's my favorite so far.
That one's your favorite so far. But we say so far because we just got a bunch more. So we've got, let's see, there's Dubby there.
I'm excited for the sherbet because you know how much I love a rainbow sherbet.
Yep. So
sherbet.
Sherbet.
It's pronounced sherbet.
It's sherbet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. They should probably just change that word. Just add an R in there.
It just tastes like this old Scooby-Doo push pops from the 90s.
Yeah, I agree with that. So that was a good one. My favorite is the push and punch. So it's not red as you might expect from a punch.
But show them the most exciting one.
Oh yeah. I did say we have 4. So here is the 4th one. And you can't really read it, but it is Grandpa's denture water. Which just
I chose it because it was called that.
Yes, obviously we did. It says soaked and cleaned mango.
Mango and pateo, which is dragon fruit.
Yeah.
Everyone likes dragon fruit.
Okay. Yeah. It was an interesting taste.
I thought it kind of tasted like bubble gum, like those old bubble jugs. Remember from also the 90s?
I don't know what that is. What's a bubble jug?
It was like a little hot pink plastic jug with powdered gum in it that you dump in your mouth. Kind of tastes like that. Bubble yum.
Okay. Interesting. And then your favorite is the yuzu.
Yep.
So, all right. I'll include a link so that people can get their own little Dubby, and it works really well. So you the other day had some.
I did. I only had 1 cup of coffee, which is significantly less than I normally have. And I started getting a headache, and I tried some Dubby, and actually my headache went away, which I was not expecting.
Nice.
I did not crash, and I was still able to fall asleep.
And then we gave some of that to our kid. Our kid got to try it too.
She has the Japanese soda flavor, which she likes.
Yep. She likes that one. She said something about a headache too, and I think it helped with hers. So she was probably caffeine deprived or something. She drinks a lot of the Monsters.
Yeah, those are gross.
Those are gross. But Monster, if you want to sponsor the podcast,
then they're delicious.
Then they're great. And let me know, just reach out to me and I'll change my mind. These guys don't sponsor me either. And I'm kind of I just have an affiliate link. And so I get some sort of kickback, I think, if people buy. I have 0. I've never gotten anything from them. And actually I bought all those, and they had a buy one, get one. So I bought one, got one, you bought one, got one. And that's how we ended up with 4 plus the one I already had. And so, yeah, it's good stuff. Good alternative. I've got to work a couple days this week. And so probably going to bring some with me and in some sort of container, kind of dry, and then I'll mix it, or I bought that, what do you call that thing? The thermos thing.
I don't remember what
does
it's
she
called.
call those things?
A
Wawa?
Oh, Sophia knows. She's
Yeah,
trendy.
Yeah. So I got a big, thing, and maybe I'll fill that up and I'll take that with me because it's supposed to stay cold for hours.
Put mine in my seltzer water I just bought.
Well, it goes really good in Gatorade. At least the Dubby does. The yuzu. I bet the push and punch would go good with the red Gatorade.
Punch on punch on punch.
Punch on punch on punch and punch. Punch, punch, punch.
Oh, like that monkey.
The monkey called Punch, who has a little orangutan
I love
stuffed animal. We don't show animals on this podcast. We
just good boys.
Why don't we have we should have an animal podcast too.
I know. I said that.
Yeah, we can do your favorite hippo and
all of them. My
Oh.
favorite porcupine.
Your favorite porcupine, little Rico,
We'll just have to do like a
which is all you watch is videos of him eating.
and they're the best. But we should do an episode where you just have animals featured of like that wallaby and that
Oh, I can
emu.
do law enforcement.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like the chicken one. I did the breakdown of the
Mhm.
chicken. Where was that? Douglas County?
Yeah.
And then the wallaby
Douglas County.
was Douglas County as well. And so I haven't done that one yet.
And that emu one that I have to be for
Yeah.
because that is my new favorite video.
Is that the where he handcuffs the emu? I don't want to give it away. I don't want to ruin it for anybody that hasn't seen it yet. So, but we'll do that one. Maybe I guess we could do that on an episode instead of
Next week.
next week on Sunday. Oh, and we got some new mics and new stuff and new mixers. And so I've been playing with the sound. So hopefully I sound and you sound, obviously we're different voices, a much lower, quieter voice, and you're much kind of higher, more excited voice, I think, than mine. So either it's going to sound wacky, kind of did last week because we didn't have everything, evened out. I literally connected it all an hour before recording.
Right.
And then this time I've had an opportunity to play with it. And I've actually been making little adjustments. They can't really tell on here, but making little adjustments as we've gone on the podcast here today. So I think we're in good shape.
All
Right. So we've plugged little Dubby. I like Dubby. Dubby, you should fully sponsor me. You should have me do some sort of promos where I'm drinking things and mixing things and taking them to work and doing all. I'd have you wink, but
but I can't.
But you can't wink. You're like, so I'll wink for you. All right.
Just like Lucille Bluth. Gangy wink.
Well, she winks. Like that's a legit wink. Yours are like, I can't, like your eye doesn't close. That's better. Your right one's better. Your right one.
Well, I had the Bell's palsy.
Well, yeah, for like not very long.
For like 6 months.
All right. Yeah.
It caused permanent damage.
It does do that. All right.
Anywho.
Yeah. And we're moving on. Moving on with the episode. But I like the chit chat.
Yeah.
This is good for the episode. It's a little bit better than me just talking to myself. And so this is Santa Fe Police. This is our final breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be from September 7th of 2025. I can actually look at this screen over here, so I don't even have to look over here anymore. But they're looking for a homicide suspect. They find a vehicle associated with this person some way. I don't know if the license plate had a hit on it or what. We just discovered via the news locally that our favorite license plate reader company is going to be going away. And you will not comment on that, but it was in the news that a local department here is going to be ridding of those guys. And I will at least say that I thought they were great. It seemed like there was a lot of successes coming about, with the license plate readers and leading to suspects and leading to things. And there was one single instance where someone gained access through somebody else and access information they weren't supposed to, or at least that they weren't really technically authorized to. And that sounds like a department problem there.
Yeah.
Does not sound like a software or a system problem. And I think the removal of these things is just such a bad idea. Even if you're replacing them. I saw it's going to go from 111 cameras down to 50, which just to me, and you won't comment, but it to me makes absolutely no sense. And that's just silly nonsense. So anyway, I don't know how they found this vehicle, but they found this vehicle and then they try to stop this vehicle, which then leads to a pursuit and then ultimately a foot pursuit. But you're going to see a few things and we're going to talk about it as it goes. So they go to stop it, lights and sirens, takes off, goes off road. I've done that.
Their county went into the county. One bailing on the right, one bailing on the right. I'm staying with the car.
So you see the little guy running,
Mhm.
right? So they must have stopped or slowed down enough. He said, I want out. He jumps out. Now the officer says, somebody from behind me, stop this guy, grab him. And that's amazing. And that's great to have the large picture brain to go, we need that guy.
Mhm.
Because one, it could be your suspect. Two, it could be someone taking evidence. Let's say the suspect gives them, you know, it's a shooting maybe. So, hey, here's the gun, run. They're not going to stop you. They're after me.
Right.
So they give him the gun. He takes off on foot. Now the evidence is gone. And so good choice to tell officers to grab him.
2 units, pick up the guy bailing.
She does right.
It is great radio traffic.
Yeah, not a lot of
Well,
directions,
boy, unit pit
speeds.
certified,
Well, as far as,
certified,
like,
going
calmness,
under,
it's not
silent
freaking
or
out.
approaching
Right.
silent.
Also, I'm not hearing sirens so much anymore. So I don't know if he turned those off or what.
Mhm.
Now, what he asked there was for a pit certified officer. And I'm looking at the vehicle and I'm not seeing pit bars. I'm not seeing a push bumper.
Oh.
So maybe they have vehicles that are designed for pit. And so it has to be a vehicle designed that way. Or they actually certify officers separately to do pit maneuvers, which Santa Fe Police, if that's the case, that's wacky. I'm not going to ever hit departments right or wrong, policies, different things like that. But every officer should be pit certified. Every officer should be certified in rifles, OC, pepper balls, 40 millimeters, whatever you have in your department. Everybody needs to be certified, because what's going to happen is you're going to get into a situation where you're going to be like, hey, we need a pepper ball. There are no pepper ball certified officers working tonight. And so now you're stuck without it, and all
Right.
you have is your firearm. And so I'm not sure what that is all about, but that's what he asked for. There's a siren.
We're going to be left on Rufina, 32 miles an hour.
All right, so now another officer gets into this with a pickup truck. So maybe he's pit certified.
Vehicle's going wrong way on Cerritos.
They're going to go wrong way on the road, which I don't necessarily recommend, but
Lavina going down deck Lavina now. Speed's at 44 miles per hour.
it is a homicide.
I'm at
supposedly,
Clovia
so-
now. Speed's at 30 miles an hour. I'm at Clovia.
Now, and the way I was taught and the way you were taught
Mhm.
is that if you're in a pursuit, first vehicle is going to chase, second vehicle is going to do the radio. And that allows the first officer to kind of observe things, make decisions, respond to, you know, guy starts shooting. He's able to respond to that. And then the other car back can be the one giving directions of travel, speed, all that stuff. And so now you kind of see this officer is that throughout. So he was first car, he was doing it.
Mhm.
He was second car, he was doing it. And first car, he's doing it again. Then he pits him. So was he pit certified or was he not pit certified?
Maybe you just figured you got to do what you got to do.
Right. It's gone on long enough, maybe. Now they're both hitting or something. What you're going to see is the other officer is going to fly up and this guy.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yep. So now this officer is going to keep going. Now you're looking at second officer. Yeah. Another officer is going to go down and come around. You're going to see the foot chase from his car. There he goes. And then you get your foot chase, which this is a radio antenna. First, I thought it was a baton. Some of the old cops grab their batons out of the doors.
Oh, right.
So they lost him. He's a known suspect. I'm hearing some radio traffic kind of through his radio. I don't know if his radio here is on a mic or not. I highly recommend departments everywhere go to earpieces. I mean, just the surprise, the ability for bad guys not to hear your radio, you being in bushes and kind of in the dark and not being heard and only going to an earpiece as opposed to your mic or your radio, without a mic is huge. And so you hear a little bit of radio traffic, but this guy is obviously not saying anything of directions where he's running.
Right.
You know, he was big on direction travel, all that stuff with the vehicle. But as soon as he gets out of the vehicle, he's no longer doing that. I don't know if the other officer's doing that. He did say, if you don't stop, I'm going to shoot you.
He did say that. The guy didn't stop. And he didn't shoot him.
He didn't? Nope, he didn't shoot
Stay on
him.
the ground, Abel. Stay on the ground. He's right here. I got him. Do not move.
Yeah.
Go hands. Got it.
I don't know.
You're done, homie.
I don't know where we're at. That's a terrible feeling when you're in a foot chase, especially if you're in a foot chase that ends in a use of force. You know, and people are asking you, where are you? Where are you? And
We're
you're
behind this vineyard.
Where? Yeah. In the trees. I mean, where? So you got to know where you're going. Obviously I wasn't perfect at that, but, was pretty good with directions of travels, and I would rather air information more often than not than be the one to catch them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I'm running after somebody and we're jumping fences, and I've done that, I would just get on the radio and let's get a bunch of cars. We had the benefit where I was to have a bunch of officers show up, not like LA, not like some of the episodes I did before with LA where it's like 8 officers and helicopter and all these different things. I didn't have that, but I was able to call and get a perimeter set up. I didn't hear anything, you know, this officer doing that, but perhaps the other guy did. And then you have somebody of rank, sergeant maybe. Looks like he's getting on the radio. Get him cuffed. I like that.
Just check your time.
I'm assuming this officer that we see the body cam, he was the lethal coverage. Kind of see the gun out a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the other guy was handcuffing. The sergeant, hey, I would have said, get the sergeant over to help handcuff. Let's get him cuffed. Then we can get on the radio. You know, maybe on the
I don't
radio.
want it, Santa Fe. We're at 1327 Declamino.
And then they're going to walk out to the street, call a car. Car's going to come and pick them up. And so all in all, I would say some things were kind of missing. I'm not going to say what they did was wrong. I'm never going to say almost never going to say what officers do is wrong. Obviously, I think there could be some things done differently in this video, and we're missing a lot of context. So this is the video clip originally came from the department, and then I kind of, so that it's not a million minutes long, but the context of what I wanted to see is also not there.
Right.
And you can see body cameras jumping around between officers too. And I was not able to get all the information that I wanted out of this. I did like the aggressive pits.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can call them proper pit maneuvers, I mean, they're kind of ramming the car and getting it to stop, but it worked. And then they wrecked him out. And if I had wrecked him out and it looked like he was jumping out, at that point, I'm calling for perimeter.
Right.
I want to get officers. Hey, I want one officer 3 blocks over, 3 blocks this way, 2 blocks that way, whatever, so that we can contain him in an area. That would be my goal. But yeah.
Well, and it ended with them. I mean, they took him into custody pretty peacefully, you know, no shooting.
Right.
He didn't run into any of those houses and take somebody hostage. So, I mean, overall successful.
Yeah. And that's a little rare for clips on this podcast and on the channel, you know, the shorts, that it doesn't end in a shooting or something, but you know, I don't know if it said homicide. I don't know if it was knife or gun or what, or where the weapon was, if it was in the vehicle with the guy that ran or what, who knows, but he did give up. He ran for a little while. Maybe he's tired, you know, eventually they get tired and it's a little easier to take him into custody. And so maybe he just gave up. The other officer came from the other side. So maybe he had him pinned in pretty good. He just felt like he needed to surrender. So that was good.
Maybe he was jarred from his car being hit so many times.
getting rammed. Yeah. So I would say good clip.
Yeah.
Good work. Nobody got hurt. The chase seemed to go for quite a while. And I'm a big proponent of light sirens immediately pit.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got out of law enforcement, the sergeants were telling me immediately, as soon as you can, pit when I got into an authorized chase. And my brain, before I even get on the radio, I know it's going to turn into a pursuit. And I would already be saying, I'm going to pit this vehicle like as soon as I can. And then they would tell me, you pit as soon as you can. And I would pit as soon as I could. Right. And I had one that went 5 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, they played that for us.
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the police academy.
Yeah. So you heard my
I was
chase.
like, I know that voice.
Yeah. So I might play that on here. I still have it. It's just an audio, so it's not, nothing visual. But I was thinking the other day I might drive the route with the dash cam, record it, and then
Play the audio?
match it to the audio.
Ooh. Do you want me to be the lead car?
No chase. No chase. I don't want to be chasing anybody. I just want to show the route. So have the car, view, and then have the route, and then have the video sped up to match, because we were going like 80, 90, 100 miles an hour. And so it needs to match.
You'd never catch me.
Oh, I catch. I caught you once before. At 16 and 18. Oh. I've already caught you. So I can do it again. But yeah, anyway, so I was thinking a bit about doing that and putting the audio over it. And
yeah, I like that.
it was a fun chase. And if I don't do that, it's going to be an aerial map and it kind of show the route, because it's a really long chase. And I hate long chases. And I always talk on the podcast, and I always talk on the kind of the shorts, like, don't do long chases because it's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And the exception to this was that this was like 2 a.m., 1 a.m. in the morning, and there's nobody out on the roads.
I can tell you it was after 2 a.m. because where it ended up was across the street from my former job, and my employees who got in at 2 a.m. saw the whole thing and they were very excited.
There you go. So it was after 2 a.m. And so it went way longer than I wanted. And I actually say on the audio, like, hey, I'm going to pit as soon as I can. And the sergeant says, get the speeds down because we're going too fast. And I knew that. That's why I hadn't already pit, but I had an opportunity for it for sure. So yeah, good couple videos.
Yeah.
Good little canine discussion. I highly encourage people that are interested in things that I talk about to research it on their own. And so talked about the if the dog alerts, can they search? I didn't mention the ruling. So there's a Supreme Court ruling, Illinois versus Caballes from 2005. So look that one up. Look up the other one. So it was Rodriguez versus United States, Illinois versus Caballes, and then Florida versus Harris, 2013. Those are all kind of key factoring cases into canine sniffing vehicles. And so highly encourage people to educate themselves. I try to do that on here, whether it's during a podcast episode or the shorts. I try to get in as much information as I can, which is hard because the longer the video, the less likely people are to watch.
Yeah.
And so my goal is to get like 90-second videos.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so hard to have a substantial video at 90 seconds.
Yeah.
And I see these videos all the time of these guys, other cops or, cop channels or whatever, and they put out all these things and they're 10, 15, 20 seconds. And it's like a bit of action and then that's it. And it's like, well, you're not getting any information. You're not getting any education. And that's kind of the point to all of this, is to provide that.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool. Good episode.
Good episode.
All right. Well,
episode 8 in the bag.
Episode 8. And so that's substantial in the sense that is 8 weeks. So it's one episode per week. These air everywhere. So I submit the whole episode to Spotify, iHeartRadio, and then I also submit it to YouTube, to the YouTube channel. And then you get social media stuff as well. So you can get short clips and different things there. So I highly encourage everybody to follow that stuff so they can catch all this stuff. But 8 episodes means 8 weeks. And that's a long time to be doing something, 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to keep going. There's no end in sight. Work, I'm able to work around. Like I said, I work this week, so I'm got a couple shifts, and then I can do videos. We're recording this early, and then we'll release it on Friday, as I normally would. But this is a day I don't normally record, and so I'm doing that because I've got work. So yeah,
Yep,
good stuff.
great stuff.
I like having you here because I got somebody to talk to instead of just myself.
I do think it'd be fun if you got somebody on here as a guest that is not in law enforcement or security or policing.
Just a regular person.
Just a regular.
Yeah.
Just to get their perspective, because I think that it's always interesting to me.
And that's something I want to do. And I've talked about that on the episodes before, that, you know, if you come into the community, I've got a Discord server. If you go in there, you supply some, you know, clips for me to do on future episodes or shorts or whatever. And I want to, you know, bring somebody on, I might pick from those people.
Yeah.
So from that kind of fan base, pick those people to come on and be the civilian. I have no law enforcement experience, knowledge, and just going off of what I see. And then we can have conversations, and it'll be audio and maybe video. I might be able to get them on a webcam or something like that, but be able to bring them in and say, hey, you know, here's what I think. What do you think? It might be completely different because they have the citizen, and I kind of have a citizen mentality now too, because I'm not in law enforcement anymore, but it's different to see that. I think that would be neat for the episodes.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, we're going to see everybody next week. Right? Are you going to be here?
Guess it'll be a surprise.
Oh, a little surprise. Okay. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, wherever you're catching this stuff. I appreciate you guys. Keep sending those clips because I'm going to keep making the videos, and we'll catch you next week on episode 9. See ya.